When I was a kid, things happened to me that shouldn't have to happen to any child. I was only 6, and it was supposed to be a simple, fun game of Monopoly. Just another fun day of playing with my friend. I trusted him. He was my favorite friend. And then something changed. And that shifted everything that was to come for the rest of my life. That shift was to change the course of my life forever. Nearly 1 million children each year experience sexual abuse. By the time they've reached young adulthood, their lives are enmeshed in a cycle of drugs and drinking and outlandish behaviors. It's a way for them to try to quell the pain, try to process somehow the pain of the past. What I endured for those years completely derailed me and splintered me. It set into motion how I was to feel about myself for decades to come. I developed an intense lack of self-worth, a horrific sense of poor body image, depression, and really an outright self-hatred. The lack of love I felt for myself became real evident by the time I was 11 years old. I was only 11 years old when I started to really act out. I began to fist fight in the streets. I acquired a real healthy habit of petty theft. And I always had large consumptions of alcohol on a daily basis at the age of 11. And later on in years, this led to attracting people into my life that were going to reflect to me what little worth I felt for myself. So I embarked into a relationship that was so toxic and was to last 10 years, which I further endured more domestic violence. And that led to a series of more violent relationships, which ultimately almost took my life. The beatings were so bad. I eventually hit rock bottom. I was emotionally exhausted, physically depleted, spiritually broken, and completely addicted. I was in such despair, such gripping pain, and just felt like no one could understand me. And I was dealing with a lot of shame, a lot of sorrow, a lot of guilt, and immense confusion. It was rather debilitating and quite pitiful. So I shut myself off from the world, and I slept, and I entered into the dark night of the soul. I knew I had to do something. Traditional psychotherapy had helped a bit. All the medications, the many medications I was put on, had helped a bit. Going to rehab a few times, yeah, definitely helped a bit. Everything I had tried to do had helped a bit. And all to a certain degree. But it became really apparent to me that what I needed to do was go much deeper within. I had to go back into that wounded place of myself. I had to go back to my inner child. And with all the therapies I had done, I was never really quite willing to do that deep amount of work. And now it was upon me to go do the deeper work, because that's where the true freedom was going to be found. I needed to journey deep within to find myself. So I reached out to spiritual teachers, spiritual psychotherapists, because I knew they were the ones to help me. They were the ones who were going to really encompass the mind, body, soul connection. And by that point, I knew that psychotherapy alone was not going to help me. Going to massage therapists alone wasn't going to help me. Being one with nature was not going to help me. It had to be a combination, a wellness package that I needed to embark on. So embarking on healing my inner child, going back into my past, giving her voice and acknowledgement and saying aloud, yes, this did happen to you. Yes, I see you. Yes, I hear you. And yes, I love you. And that all these horrific scenarios did in fact play out. Now I'm here, willing and receptive to do what it takes to help heal you and bring you back to wholeness. It was cathartic, absolutely cathartic. Going back into my past, to sit with the violations, to then process that pain and all those feelings, and to be able to really sense that betrayal, to really feel it and allow it to show up and rise up. And then learning how to forgive it all, to forgive my perpetrators, and most of all, to forgive myself. Doing that inner work again was freeing, and that was the missing piece. Was going ever deeper, peeling away at the layers of the onion and finding more stuff that needed to be looked at, and being willing to ride the course, keep the steady flow, stay committed and dedicated to my personal healing with a wonderful, supportive counselor by my side, was what ultimately set me on the path to begin the journey now out of there into one of happiness, which was a whole other journey in itself, but that I had already began the journey ever inward to clean up the rooms, so to speak, and to be able to begin the journey outward to call to me the happiness that was rightfully mine. Was liberating, absolutely liberating. Had it not been for me setting that intention to make that decision, to take the action and make the choice that I was going to get better, to know that I had to make those calls and reach out to people for help, none of that would have been able to happen had I not made that decision and said, I am worth it and I need this help and I'm going to do what it takes to get the help that I need to create the life that I deserve. If I hadn't done any of that, I wouldn't be sitting here today speaking to you here on video. So if you find yourself in a place of deep emotional pain or pain of any kind, I'm asking you, I'm imploring you to be kind to yourself and reach out to someone. Make that decision, take that action, acquire that awareness that is needed to set in motion the life that you state that you want to have. And if you're not experiencing that today, then what's it going to take for you to have that happiness that you deserve? It can happen, but there's no savior coming. You are your own savior. You yourself have to make the decision to pick up the phone or to make to make the call. To make the call to whomever it may be for you to ask for the help. Only you can choose that. So here I am today, a very empowered woman, very focused and clear about what I have gone through and what it took to get through that and heal from it, and who I am today. I feel very blessed that my life is filled with so much joy, but most of all that I have self-love, which is something brand new for me in the last few years, but that I'm grateful that the experiences of the past did not take from me and annihilate it altogether. And because I was able to overcome so much, I really feel that it is my duty to return to my village, so to speak, to return back to my community, to give back all the tools and resources that I learned along the way. You know, I do feel a huge responsibility to go forward and to shine the light in all the dark places. How dare I not share this wisdom, this knowledge? How dare I not share the keys of success that will surely help others be able to overcome whatever hardships they are enduring? It is my duty, as much as it is my joy, to go forward and to give a lending hand to others so that they too can lead healthier, happier lives. How dare I not help humanity? It is for this reason that I am rising up to meet this challenge of becoming part of the Messenger Project. It is my desire to spread the message of hope, of cheer, and of how-tos wide and far across the land. It is my way of helping others be able to wrong their past and to accept what may have happened and to learn to have self-forgiveness and forgiveness of others. And what better way to do this than to be part of a documentary movie that will share the tools that I have learned. My desire for doing this is to help others truly have and attain self-love and empowerment into their daily lives. In this project, there will be more to come. You'll be hearing more about my message. There'll be other things required of us as we embark on the challenge. But for now, I'm going to ask for your support. If my story in any way inspired you, I'm going to ask that you vote and post a comment underneath my video and engage with me and tell me about yourself. And I will quickly respond back in return. And also, if you think that other people that you know may feel inspired and would like to hear my message of hope, that you could possibly pass this message on to them, forward them this video, and that they too may be able to leave comments and take the vote. I want to thank you for taking the time to view this, and I look forward to connecting with you online. And again, I thank you from my heart for your support.